Day 2 of the spoilers, and we have a massive day, even bigger than yesterday. It's April the 3rd, and we have got some amazing cards. So I'm just going to absolutely go through them one at a time. There's like 50 odd cards, so we'll try and fly through them a bit quicker, but buckle up because there are some absolute winners in here. Hopefully none that will get banned before they even hit the format, like we did today. So back for more. Start with an instant spell for 4 black green. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. When you do, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So return a target card from your graveyard. It goes on and fights a target creature. So it's recursion, fighting. Yeah, pretty cool. Seems like the sort of theme that's going on in this deck. Boon of the Wish Giver. 4 blue sorcery. Draw 4 cards. Pretty simple. And it cycles, which I think is really good for these sorts of cards. For 1. Chittering Harvester, another mutate card. 4 and a black to mutate, 5 and a black to play. And it's a 4/6 nightmare creature. Whenever this creature mutates, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Pretty standard uncommon. Dire Tactics, for a white and a black instant. Exile target creature. If you don't control a human, you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. If you don't control a human. So if you control a human, you're exiling for white-black. And that is an uncommon. Dirge Bat. 2 black. It's a 3/3 bat creature with a mutate 4 black. Now I see some mutate costs are higher, and I get the impression that's because they're probably slightly better, i.e. giving flash flying, so you can just flash make your creature flying, and whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. So it lands in, gives a creature flying, and destroys a creature for 4 black. Yeah. Dranith Magistrate for 1 and a white is a 1/3 human wizard. So humans obviously feature in terms of, they're almost, it seems like the humans are almost like the underdogs, the enemies in this, and it's all about the beasts. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. Now, I think that's going to be interesting because there's obviously lots of ways of bringing things out of graveyards from a casting perspective, and also from this companion zone that we heard about yesterday. Dreamtail Heron. Love the art in this. Absolutely beautiful. It's a 3/4, 4 blue creature, elemental bird. Oh, love me an elemental. Mutate 3 blue, and it, again, giving flying, and whenever this creature mutates, draw a card. So you're just going to add that benefit of drawing cards every time you're mutating. So it's just like a free flyer for 3 and a blue. Then you've got the Everquill Phoenix, which is 2 red for 4/4 Phoenix, which mutates for 3 and a red. So lesser red cost, but same overall CMC. For flying again, whenever this creature mutates, create a red artifact token named Feather with 1 sacrifice feather, return target Phoenix card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So whenever this creature mutates, you are creating an artifact, and the artifact for 1 mana can be sacrificed, and you get this back. Or return target Phoenix. So another Phoenix potentially. I really like that mechanic, and I think that's really cool, especially, as I said, as it's part of the mutate, which I think is just going to be interesting to see how tactically people use mutate. Fertilid, which is a reprint, but a welcome reprint. Love it. If you've not seen that card, enters with 2 1/1s on it, and for 1 and a green, remove 1/1 counter from Fertilid, and you can search for a basic land. Green needs more ramp. That's clearly what Wizards are saying. But yeah, it's just a 2/2 elemental. Yet again, love me my elementals. That helps you get land out. Beautiful. Fiend Artisan for a black or a green. which is a 1/1 creature nightmare. Fiend Artisan gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. I mean, that's pretty significant. X and a Golgari, so black or green, and tap. Sacrifice another creature, which would in turn buff. Search a library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it onto the battlefield, shuffle your library, activate it only when you can do a sorcery. So let's just say 5 and a black or green, and sacrificing a creature, and tapping Fiend Artisan gets you just a 5 mana, a 5 CMC creature. I mean, that card seems pretty crazy to me. I think some of the black-green cards seem pretty great. Gem Razor, a 4/4 beast for 3 and a green. Mutate is 1 green, which is probably the lowest I've seen in terms of mutate cost so far. So only 3 mana to mutate, which gives reach and trample. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or an enchantment an opponent controls. I think this card is another big do not underestimate me card. You're giving something reach and trample. You're destroying an artifact or enchantment, and we've seen enchantments being massive in the last meta. And it's a 4/4. Love it. General Kudro of Dranith. So this is the father of the planeswalker, of the commander in one of the commander decks, and the boss of Luca, the new planeswalker. So 3/3 legendary creature, human soldier for 1 white black. Other humans you control get +1/+1, so human buff. Whenever General Kudro of Dranith or another human enters the battlefield under your control, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. Bit of graveyard hate. 2 and sacrifice 2 humans, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Now, we're not sure yet how important that's going to be. There are lots of destroying spells anyway, but the ability to destroy something quickly, and I mean 2 humans, you'd have thought there'd be quite a lot of human tokens going on, so maybe that's not going to be too bad. And 4 or greater, there's going to be plenty of creatures, so interesting. Flourishing Fox, a 1/1 for 1. A fox creature. Whenever you cycle another card, put a 1/1 counter on Flourishing Fox, and this card itself can be cycled for 1. Probably more so in the late game. But yeah, growing as if cycling becomes the theme to build a white deck round. We've got the Archipelago, which is a Leviathan creature. 7/7 for 7, so 5 blue. Mutate for 5 and a blue. Whenever this creature mutates, tap up to X target creatures, where X is the number of times this creature has mutated. Keep mutating this creature, which is obviously a big creature, going to be hard to get rid of. You're going to keep tapping their creatures, which don't then untap. So you're going to need to get rid of this thing, otherwise it's just going to tap your whole board. Fab, love a Leviathan. Neutralize. 1 blue, instant counter spell with cycling for 2. Love a counter spell. 1 blue, and it cycles. Pretty standard blue. Like it. Got a lot of time for it. Gonna see some definite play. Interested in limited as well with that cycling ability. Helps free up some cards if you need to. Yeah, good card. Phase Dolphin. 1/4 for 2 and a blue. A creature, Elemental Whale. Love me an Elemental. Whenever Phase Dolphin attacks another attacking creature, can't be blocked this turn. Just helps sort of get one of your other creatures through, which I think is really cool. Blood Curdle for 3 and a black. Destroy target creature. Put a menace counter on a creature you control. So you're instant destroying a creature for 3 and a black, which isn't great. Murder is a 1 and 2 black, but then you're putting a menace counter on a creature you control. So in theory, if you do that at the right point, potentially you destroy a creature and then you make one of your creatures harder to block. I think that's pretty cool. And there are ways that other cards are playing around with effects like menace to make it even more interesting, which we'll come on to in a minute. For 2 and a black, a sorcery, Call of the Death Dweller. Return up to 2 target creature cards with total converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a Death Touch counter on either of them, then put a Menace counter on either of them. Now, I'm not big enough in the rules to understand whether or not this means you can get 2 creature cards worth 3 each and give them death and Menace counters, or if we're talking about they combined have to add up to 3, and you can only give 1 death and 1 menace. I mean, I don't know. Either way, even if you get 2 1/1s or 2 1-mana creatures, one has death touch, one has menace, or one has both death touch and menace, I still think for 3, that is not a bad card at all. I think we're going to see quite a lot of that graveyard, for sure, graveyard usage. So Mythos of Nethroi, I'm going to pronounce that. There's a few mythoses going around with similar kind of art, so it's clearly one of the themes. 2 and a black instant, destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature, or if green white was spent to cast this spell. So this is an interesting one where they're all kind of using this triplet color system. So basically, if you use green white black to cast this spell, you can destroy any non-land permanent. If you just use a random combination of mana that isn't that and 1 black, you get to destroy a creature. So I think that's interesting in terms of 2 and a black for a creature destruction, fine. Green, white, black to destroy any permanent you want, yeah, that's good. I'm trying to avoid putting in cards that I can't read, so apologies. There are some cards out there that I haven't included because I can't read them, and translations are tricky. Shredded Sails, 1 red, an instant. Choose 1, destroy an artifact, fine. It deals 4 damage to target flying creature, fine. And then cycling 2. Lots of utility on that card. Like it. It's going to see some play, especially if artifacts become a decent thing, which it may well do. Auspicious Starix for 4 and a green, and it's a 6/6. It's a 6/6 for 5. Elk Beast. People with that jitter around the elks after Throne. Mutate for 5 and a green, so higher mutate cost. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. Put those permanents on the battlefield. So you are first time mutating once. You're exiling cards from your library until you get to the first permanent card. And then you exile that permanent card. Then you put it on the battlefield. The second time, it's 2. And it can be anything. So if you're running a massive creature deck, that could be a huge creature. I think we're going to see some manipulation for sure of that. Colossification. 5 green for an enchantment aura that literally just says, enter the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. It gets 20/20. There is going to be a way of playing around with these sorts of mechanics. +20/+20. I've not seen something so significant in an actual number that doesn't just say X. +20/+20. It does tap the creature. Now, that could be used to tap an opponent, for sure, defensively. But for 7, that's a lot. But one of those ones where it's like, put that permanent on the battlefield. Maybe it could be that. Suddenly you've got a 20/20. And then some. So Glowstone Recluse. As you can probably tell, there's a lot of green. There's a lot of green in this. Big monsters, what do you expect? 2/3 creature spider for 2 and a green. Mutate is 3 and a green, so high mutate. Gives reach. And whenever this creature mutates, put 2 1/1 counters on it. So you're gaining +2 to mutate it. Yeah. So give something reach and +2/+2 for 4 mana. Interesting. Brokos, Apex of Forever. 2 black, green, blue for a 6/6 legendary creature, Nightmare Beast Elemental. Yes, it is. Mutate. 2 blue or black, green, green. Trample. You may cast Brokos, Apex of Forever, from your graveyard using its mutate ability. So basically, what we're seeing here is for its mana cost, give or take, just with an extra green, and less specific on the blue-black, you can just play it from the graveyard. That's crazy. And it could just give something trample, or it could be a big tramply 6/6 that you can add stuff to. So what it doesn't say is that when it says you can cast it, not mutate it. So I guess it just comes out as is. You don't get to add it to something. So, but I mean, hey, a 6/6 for 5 from the graveyard with trample. Yes, please. So some of these were taken from some less than great places, but I think this is how it was on Scryfall, no less. Cheville, Bane of Monsters. This is a good card. Black green for a 1/3 legendary creature, human rogue, so another human. Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with bounty counters on them, put a bounty counter on target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls with a bounty counter on it dies, you gain 3 life and draw a card. So a lot in there. So it's a 1/3 Death Touch straight away. And then your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with bounty counters on them, put a counter on a target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. So decent for spreading some counters around and getting rid of something, and then if it dies, gaining life, drawing cards. Like it. I'm sure that there'll be a bit of a, I mean, being a legendary creature, possibly a brawl or a commander deck with its name on. Like it. Black green doing really well. Death's Oasis, white black green enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then return a creature card with lesser converted mana cost than the creature that died from your graveyard to your hand. 1, sacrifice this. You gain life equal to the greatest converted mana cost among creatures you control. So a non-token creature dies, you put 2 cards into the graveyard, then you get 1 out of the graveyard that is slightly lower, or a lot lower, and into your hand. Bit of recursion when something dies, and then so you can do that whenever it dies, and then you've got the old 1 and sacrifice to gain some life. Okay. General's Enforcer for a white-black for 2/3 human soldier. Legendary humans you control have indestructible. Okay. 2 white-black, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. So you're just going to get rid of, exile that creature that you think is going to come back, like we saw the one previously where it said you can play it from the graveyard. You're giving legendary humans indestructible, and it's a 2/3 for 2. Yep, like it. Labyrinth Raptor for black-red. It's a 2/2 creature, nightmare dinosaur. Menace. Whenever a creature you control with menace becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature blocking it. Wow, what? So straight away, it's just you've got to block it, and you've got to block it knowing that one of those creatures is going to die. And like I saw earlier, you can dish menace counters out like there's no tomorrow. Black-red, creatures you control with menace get +1/0 until the end of turn. That is a funky aggro card. I like it. For 2 mana, it's a 2/2 with menace, and it makes other things with menace crazy. 4 of those in an aggro, Rakdos aggro deck. Yeah, lots of time for that. Primal Empathy. Bit of that theme coming through this set. 1 green-blue enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control. So straight away, 3 mana. You're drawing cards if you've got the biggest stuff. Or you're making stuff bigger if you don't. It's not threatening enough to necessarily want to get rid of if it's on the battlefield. But that is going to do a lot of work for you if you've got a lot of big things kicking about from a card draw perspective. Sprite Dragon. Love this card. Look at it. Look at it. Size of a pixie. Rage of a Hellkite. Love that. It's a blue-red for a 1/1 fairy dragon. Flying, haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Sprite Dragon. Yes. Yes, I will. Trumpeting Gnar. I assume the G is silent. 1 green blue for a 3/3 creature beast. It mutates for 3 and either a blue or a green or a blue or a green. Whenever this creature mutates, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. So it is a 3/3 beast that creates 3/3 beasts for 5. Yes. Now, the thing I don't quite know yet is if you've got something with, let's say you've mutated this with another creature, and they've obviously both got mutating things. Whenever this creature mutates, do this. If you mutate something onto that already combined thing, does all 3 things trigger? Because if that does, the combinations. The combinations. Any rules lawyers out there, let me know. Proud Wild Bonder. He looks very proud. Look at that little thing. What is that? A 4/3 for 2 red, green. Or red or green, sorry. It's a creature human warrior with trample. Creatures you control with trample you may have this creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Yep. He sits nicely in a big old trampley deck, I think. And then we've got 5 crystals. I hope are one after the other here. This is the Indatha Crystal, which is a 3 mana, which taps for 3, so a triplet of colours, and it cycles for 2. And we should have Ikoria Crystal, which is those 3 green, red, blue, red. The Raugrin Crystal. These artwork looks crazy good, by the way. Add blue, red, and white. The Savai Crystal. Add red, white, and black. The Zagoth Crystal. Add black, green, and blue. Sorry. Or one. Only one, not all 3. I think that's good flexibility, and the cycling, I think, makes a big difference. Archipelago, different artwork. That looks so cool. Love that. Glowstone Recluse, different artwork. It just looks so cool. The comic book style. Brokos, Apex of Forever. Look at it. It's mad. Then we've got Kogla, the Titan Ape. 7/6 for 3 green. Legendary creature ape. When Kogla the Titan Ape enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Whenever Kogla attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. 1 green, return target human you control to its owner's hand. Kogla gains indestructible until the end of turn. So that is kind of a hybrid with humans for you to be able to get it back into your hand and potentially an enter the battlefield effect. It gains indestructible. When it attacks, it's then destroying stuff. It's just, I love that. It's a big King Kong style ape that's, when it comes down, it fights something and then it destroys stuff when it attacks and it just steals humans. Yep. Death's Oasis, we've gone through, and that's the larger full art version. Colossification, different artwork. Not sure if that's just in the different sort of like green pack or something. Baby Godzilla Ruin Reborn. Oh, this is the Godzilla series artwork for one of the cards we saw yesterday. Each creature spell you cast costs 1 less if it has mutate, and whenever you cast a creature spell, if it has mutate, draw a card, then discard a card. BioQuartz Space Godzilla, which is weirdly the Godzilla art for Brokos Apex of Forever, which is the Nightmare Beast Elemental. And then you've got Doret, the perfect pet, which is the sprite dragon. Look at the artwork, guys. There's going to be so many people collecting, and you've got to get the collector's edition. I don't know if you can get these in normal packs. I've not looked into it yet, guys, but, you know, you just got to order it all, because I just think the stuff looks amazing. Mythos of Snapdax. So this is the white version of the Mythos cards. Each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the permanents they control, then sacrifices the rest. If black-red was spent to cast a spell, you choose permanents for each player instead. So you get to choose it rather than them picking, which I think is just, you know, that's great in terms of, it's quite a lot of stuff, but if they've only got creatures out and you've got a range, then this could be a really useful card to sort of almost board wipe. Really shaky, but Mythos of Vadrok, which is 2 red. Mythos of Vadrok deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. If white-blue was spent to cast this spell until your next turn, those permanents can't attack or block, and the activator's abilities can't be activated. Another one I can't read, but that looks awesome artwork. We'll see it, I'm sure, tomorrow. Reconnaissance Mission for 2 blue, an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Lots of card draws, got lots of creatures, certainly with flying, etc. I think that's fab. And it's got cycling for 2. Look at this, Savai Sabertooth, the little cat, for 3/1 cat for 2. And this may be the last one, Skull Prophet, another black-green card. 3/1 for black-green. Human Druid, add black or green, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. So you tap it for black or green, or you tap it and put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Fuel your graveyard. And then, oh no, there is more. Voracious Great Shark. There are so many cards. 3 blue for 5/4 shark with flash. Love me a flash creature. When Voracious Great Shark enters the battlefield, counter target artifact or creature spell. Expensive counter for 3 blue, but you counter it and then you bash out a 5/4 shark. Yep. That's going to get annoying. Wingfold Terron for 5 and a blue, which is a 3/6 dinosaur. Wingfold Terron enters the battlefield with your choice of a flying counter or a hexproof counter. Depends what type of opponent you're playing. Like that. Like a flyer. Like a hexproof. This might be the last one. And what a one to end on. Yidaro Wandering Monster. Look at that. It's a legendary dinosaur turtle. It's an 8/8 for 5 red. It's got trample and haste. I love a turtle with haste. I just think that's a great idea. Cycling for 1 and a red. When you cycle it, shuffle it into your library from your graveyard. If you've cycled a card named Yidaro Wandering Monster 4 or more times this game, put it onto the battlefield from your graveyard instead. So just keep bringing it back out, and if you've got 4 copies, they're going to cycle, and then it's just going to hit the battlefield for free every time you want to cycle it. So you're basically paying 2 mana eventually to get it out. Yep. And then we're back for more, and we're back for more. There you go. So look, some of these cards are amazing. I'm dead excited about this set. As I've said in the last video, you can pre-order whatever you want. I'd get out there and do a bit of pre-ordering. You can get them from doublesleeve.co.uk, which pretty decent price for you in the UK. And all these cards just they look amazing. Tell me what you think. What you think of the artwork? What you think of the new Godzilla series? How are you finding all this? I am loving the volume of spoilers that they're all over the place. I'm starting to brew like crazy. Dinosaurs, elementals. Yeah, I think it's fantastic, and I'm really appreciate any of you that saw yesterday's video. Come back today, and then hopefully we'll get, as they come out, we'll do another video tomorrow if there's more, and on and on. And I think there should be some more commander-based cards tomorrow, so we'll soon find out. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.